Welcome to episode 8 of Bobble Pod. I'm Manny Singh.
I'm Claire Daniels.
And I'm Anushna Takanyan.
On this episode, we're going to try something different where we're going to introduce you to each of the hosts that have been presenting Bobble Pod for the last 7 episodes. Today, starting with Claire Daniels, CEO of Trio Media.
Excited to be in the hot seat.
So, welcome, Claire. I know from our own personal experience, we've known each other for a while, but this is an opportunity for the audience to get to know you. So I'd like to explain a little bit about your career path today in terms of how that's got you to where you are right now.
Yeah, okay, great. So I'll start with the where I am now and then work backwards, I think. So I'm CEO of Trio Media. Trio Media are a digital marketing agency based in Leeds. We've recently just collaborated in a joint venture with Manny at Bobble, which we'll both go into more details, that we're actually sharing an office now. So we're expanding and growing both our businesses together, working collaboratively. I've been the CEO of Trio for about 18 months. I actually joined the business initially on a consultancy basis. And as it was set up by other people, I wasn't the founder, and then came in and really kind of helped change the direction and the approach of the business. And then throughout the course of my time, ended up buying out the founding directors and taking up the mantle. So Trio Media was formed in 2017, and then in 2018 was when I initially got involved, bringing us to where we are today. So my background has always been in marketing. It's always been my passion. It's what I studied at university. So although when I was in school and at uni, I went from wanting to be an actress to a fashion designer to a journalist. I wanted to do it all. And then when it came to picking what I was going to do at university, I was like, what could I get a job in, realistically? And I chose marketing and really, really fell in love with it. I hadn't done anything business related at school, although I'd done quite creative courses. So I do have a very creative side to me. So yeah, I kind of ventured off, went to university, studied marketing management, and then started my career in marketing. So typically I'd always been working in client side roles. My first position, I was working as a kind of marketing executive in a furniture manufacturing business. And at that time, I was always like, I'd love to go work for an agency. I really liked the thought of it because, being able to work on a different project every day and work on so many different clients versus just the one that you worked for. And so I was always striving for that. And actually then throughout my career path, I got a bit put off it because when I left my first role, I went into an agency and it was very much the traditional agency style of like, it doesn't matter about your output or the work you do, you're judged on time sat in your seat, so if you got there any later than 7:30 a.m. in the morning, it was judgment. If you left before 7 p.m. at night, judgment. So I quickly left there and was like, this is not for me at all. I'm a very efficient worker. I was getting work done and being like, I'm just now sat here because that's what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to be like showing up. And, all of these things have helped form who I am today and the type of business I want to run and how I want people to feel about when they show up to work at Trio Media. So I went off. I've had a number of jobs. I was a bit of a job hopper, and I remember recruitment consultants saying to me, you're never going to be able to get a good job because you're moving around too much. But my view was more, I'm not going to stay sat somewhere waiting for something to happen for me when I can go and make it happen for myself. And in my first job, the marketing manager there, she'd just become the marketing manager after 10 years at the business, and she was waiting for someone else to move on and she would get given that role. And I was like, that is never going to be me. I'm going to go out there and get it and make it happen. So I'd say 2 or 3 years into my career, I was marketing manager at a business, and then worked my way up into various roles, head of marketing positions, and really fell into the tech space. So I've done quite a lot of work in that arena. I was head of marketing for a company that specialised in moving people over to G Suite. It was called Google Apps at the time. But yeah, helping businesses with their like productivity tools and everything like that. Working really closely with Google, as we was one of the only premier partners. So we used to run events at Google's head office in London, which was all really exciting. And then I went off to another technology company called Smoothwall, where I was head of marketing there. And I would really say that was one of my like pivotal roles in kind of stepping into myself and being given a very strategic position, very leadership focused, and being able to actually go, yeah, this is who I am. You know, this is where I'm at my best, where I'm strategic thinking for businesses. I'm helping develop other people and helping them grow. And actually, I saw a long future for myself at Smoothwall, and you know, the dream of an agency or anything like that probably wasn't as rife in my mind. And then a turn of events happened, which I don't mind talking about. So my brother passed away unexpectedly, and it just made me not care about work at all. Like, I was just like, I don't know how I'm ever going to be bothered again. You know, I had a couple of weeks off work and then went back, and I was just like, I just don't care. I just could not care less. And, you know, I always felt very much defined by my work and who I was at work. And I was like, that's gone because I just don't care. But I stuck at it. You know, I struggled. I had a really awful year. And then the opportunity came along that actually, I mean, it was funny. I got a phone call whilst I was at work that my brother had left me as the named person on his life insurance policy. And they were like, you know, we've got this money that we need to send you. So the next day I handed in my notice and quit my job. I was like, right, I don't need to work for a while. So I've got to take the time off that I need to kind of personally deal with things. I then was like, right, I'm going to set up my own business. I had all these ambitions, and I'm very into the environment. And I was like, I'm going to set up an environmental consultancy, something I'm so passionate about. But I kind of quickly realized I wasn't in a good headspace anyway. I was then trying to start a business in an industry I had no knowledge of, no experience whatsoever. And, you know, so that there was a couple of years of a lot of life lessons, but it all shapes me and, you know, is defining of who I am now today. So I realized that wasn't really working. And then anyway, that's when I started consulting at Trio. And the company was actually set up by my sister-in-law. So she knew my background in marketing and my ability and wanted me to come and help her out. And then, yeah, it's one of those, essentially the rest is history. You know, like I say, came in and really helped form the direction of the business and help it grow. Year on year, we've doubled turnover each year. And yeah, really excited now about what the future holds at Trio. And it's one of those things that you look back and go, yeah, this is what I always wanted. And, you know, so it's nice to be able to be like, I mean, early 30s, kind of achieved everything I wanted to achieve, but it wasn't really the path that actually, once I got going with my career, that I thought I would end up on. So you stop and you look back and go, I made it, you know, when actually I thought I was going to do something different. So, yeah.
Can I be the first to say thanks for sharing that story about your brother? It's really very, very inspirational. And can I also say you don't look a day older than 25?
Oh, stop.
So
what do you want?
I want the answer to the next question. So because you worked both agency and client side, and I haven't had that experience, but it'd be good to experience, like, what have you learned in terms of how that's developed you wanting to be your own boss and your own entrepreneur?
Yeah, great question. So a couple of things that I've learned. I definitely think when coming into a marketing agency, knowing the experience of what it's like sitting on the other side of the table has been really valuable for me. And that's how I sell and relate to people. And, you know, as you'll know, you become a salesperson when you have your own business. And, you know, I was always like, I would never work in sales, don't know how people do it. But actually, when you run your own business, you become a salesperson. Actually, I love it. You know, when I have a good call with someone or we win a deal, I'm like, yes, you know, but I do have the luxury of I don't have to do it all and I don't have to do the bits that I don't like. But yeah, that is very much part of the conversations I have with people. You know, I've sat on your side of the table. I understand the challenges of dealing with agencies. And actually those challenges is what's formed the way that we do things differently at Trio, because I know and I've been able to reflect back on the frustrations I have had when dealing with other marketing agencies and gone, right, we won't do that, and like customer service, I think is really important. And that's something that actually some of the bigger agencies fall down on. So that's something that we've made like really core as part of everything that we do at Trio Media, is delivering customer delight at the heart of everything that we do. So that's really important. And then I don't think anything can prepare you for running your own business. I'd worked as part of the senior management team at a large organisation, so I had a lot of exposure to a lot of the challenges. We went through a management buyout. I was involved in all of that, bringing in new strategic leaders into the organisation, managing a team. But even though there's so much of that can prepare you, you're not prepared for the invoicing and all these little things that come with it, and company's house, HMRC, tax, everything that you have to get to know. I just think you learn it on the job. Basically, it's very difficult to be prepared for that, but you do it, you adapt, and you get on with it.
Can you tell me one key defining moment you've had in your career, whether it's that Trio or before any other role?
I would say definitely like the moment of being like, actually, I'm CEO now of my own agency, is completely one of the defining moments. But there are a couple. It's a bit random, like a goal I always had was I always wanted to be on TV, but like for my job, because I'd been on TV. I used to be a TV extra when I was at uni to earn money. But I just, sometimes you watch these documentaries and like these people talking, they're specialists in their area. I just liked the thought of doing that. And I kind of managed to do that in my previous role at Smoothwall. And actually, I spoke on Sky News for 5 minutes, which was cast around like 80 countries around the world, talking at the time about internet safety, because that was what the business I worked at specialised in. And we had commissioned some research, and also everyone in the office. So I was down in London in Sky News, kind of doing that live with the producer in your ear and everything, very daunting. But also everyone back in the office was watching it, and I've still got a video on my phone that I like to watch. So like one of the members of my team stood at the back of the room filming everyone else watching me on TV. And when I finished, and they were all like, yeah, go on, Claire. And like I say, like I don't work there anymore, but I still watch that video because it just makes me so proud. So that's definitely a moment that stands out for me.
Claire, being an entrepreneur is one of the difficult things like in life. What's your biggest motivation?
Success. I would say, I have very high aspirations in terms of what I want to achieve in life. I want to be successful, and success to me is being happy, being able to have the freedom and money to do whatever I want to do. My ultimate goal is that one day I want to open an animal sanctuary. So I know that's kind of worlds away from running a marketing agency, but that is my end goal. And that's the one thing that's been kind of unwavering for me since I was like a small child. I plan on one day rescuing animals, kind of having a nice farmhouse in the country, renovating the barns to live in, and then rescuing animals. So it's always thinking about the end goal. How do we get there? How do I live comfortably and go on holidays and pay people to look after these animals for me? It's all about, but equally, because of what I've been through, as much as I've got those end goals and I'm always looking at that, I'm also very focused on time is borrowed and you don't know how long you've got. So kind of living for the moment. So I'm motivated by doing what I love now and what I enjoy, and being able to, like I say, have the freedom to do the things that I want to do and live a happy life.
Yes.
What advice would you give yourself then to your younger self?
Do you know what? Just keep at it. Like you know what you're meant to be doing. Like say recruiters would be like, oh, you're not going to get a job. You need to really stay somewhere. And I didn't listen to them. I was like, no, I'm doing what's right for me. And a lot of people, they start a job. Like I've had friends do this, and they start a job and they hate it. And like, well, I'll give it a year. I'm like, no, get out of there as quickly as you can and get on with something that is aligned to what you want to be doing or that makes you feel good. So my advice would just be like, just stay at it. Know that you're on the right path. You know, everything that is meant for you will happen. You know, keep setting goals. I set myself a lot of goals when I was around like 22, 23 that I wanted to complete by the time I was 30, and I achieved every single one, you know. So I'm a big believer in like really writing down, setting goals and working towards them.
Is there any other final moments or anything else you'd like to share about yourself to the audience, about who you are that we don't already?
I mean, as you can probably tell from this, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and you know, I'm really open and honest, and that's just who I am, and that's what I try bring into business. So for me, it's just, you know, if you're listening to this as an aspiring entrepreneur or a marketeer and you're looking to, you know, grow your career, just make sure what you're doing is always aligned to, you know, something that really sets your stomach on fire with passion, and you'll always be happy. You know, you don't have to do something because you're not happy with it. And the thing is, with the best intentions in the world, you can plan what things are going to look like and you will get the biggest curveballs thrown at you, you know. So it's just about adapting. You know, I failed at setting up a business because I thought, oh, I'm going to go off and do this, and you know, I'm not afraid to talk about that, but it's led me on the path where I am now. So just hopefully through this episode and the other ones, getting to know you guys as well, we can inspire some people to start their own journeys as well.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for sharing your story and insights, Claire. That has been absolutely heartwarming, inspirational, and educational all at the same time.
You're welcome, and thank you everyone for listening. And I'm open to questions. You know, if anybody wants to get in touch with us, we've got all our different avenues for people to get in touch. You know, or leave us a review. Let us know what you think to these episodes. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks, everyone.